CBSE Board, Class 11, History, Chapter 2, Part 7, Audio by Renee Matthew. We saw the importance of public bath in the Roman Empire, and that was not allowed to be used as a part of ideology in Iran Empire. The Iranians did not encourage that. And the example of public bath is known as spectacular. Spectacular is not exactly public bath, but that was a place where people used to gather in galleries to see the performances and all that. And we can see that the Romans were so filled with entertainment that not less than 176 days of the year, most of the days of the year had spectaculars arranged all over the Roman Empire. The 3rd century crisis. Now we saw what happened in the 1st, 2nd centuries, and we saw the summing up also which took place in the end of the 1st century, the 2nd century, and now the beginning of the 3rd century. The 1st and 2nd centuries were periods of peace, economic prosperity, economic expansion. The Romans were at peace, but the 3rd century experienced internal strain and strife. Why was that? From the 230s, the empire found itself fighting on several fronts simultaneously. Lot of internal tension was there because of several reasons, not just one reason. Iran was divided into 2 dynasties, aggressive dynasties. One was Sasanian, the other one was the Parthians. Do you remember? So, in Iran, a new and more aggressive dynasty emerged in 225, and they were known as Sasanians. And within just 15 years, they were expanding rapidly. We saw that the greatest rivalry of the Romans were the Iranians, right? So now, Sasanians were emerging. Just in 15 years, they expanded in the direction of the Euphrates. Oh no, now the Romans will have to fear. The Romans were now in fear because it was a new aggressive dynasty which was expanding just in short time. Can you see a particular map which is given there? And that is expansion of the Sasanian dynasty. In a famous rock inscription cut in 3 languages, Shapur I was an Iranian ruler. He claimed that he had destroyed a Roman army which consisted of 60,000 men, just like that. Shapur belonged to the Sasanian dynasty, very powerful ruler, and even captured the eastern capital of Antioch. Do you remember Antioch, Carthage, all these places were around the Mediterranean Sea, very powerful urban centers? Now he was able to defeat one army of 60,000 and also capture the capital of Antioch, eastern half of Antioch. Such a small dynasty but very powerful. There were a series of Germanic tribes which came about. So now Romans were experiencing a lot of strife and struggle from the other parts of the territories also, other parts of the world. Now the Germanic tribes were emerging now, and they were tribal in nature, tribal confederacies. And the 3 tribes, the 3 prominent predominating tribes were Alemanni, Franks, and the Goths. Alemanni, Franks, and Goths. They began to move against the Rhine and Danube frontiers. They were the 2 rivers I told you which guarded the Roman Empire. So they started moving to that direction. Now, the earlier one, that is Shapur, before Shapur we had Sasanians. They started expanding in the direction of the Euphrates. Now, Rhine and Danube, that was going to be controlled by the Germanic tribes. They started moving to that direction. And the whole period from 233 to 280 saw repeated invasions of a whole line of provinces. Repeated invasions took place from 233 to 280. Very important period for the Roman history because a great period of internal strife. And that stretched from the Black Sea to the Alps and southern Germany. So from Black Sea to the southern Germany, full of internal invasion. Can you see the map here, how it actually expanded? You can see Carthage here, it is around the Mediterranean Sea, Roman Empire, and how they were invaded. The Romans were forced to abandon much of the territory beyond Danube. So somewhere here you have got Danube. So beyond that, all those things had to be given to the Germanic tribes. These were the three forms of the Germanic tribes. It just expanded beyond Danube. And the emperors of this period called the Romans barbarians. Because the way they fought and everything, they called them barbarians. The rapid succession of emperors in the 3rd century, that is 25 emperors in 47 years. One by one they succeeded. Barbarian people, it is like they were fighting. Succession of emperors were also seen, because when one emperor gives way to the other emperor, there will be a change in the ruling style also, right? So that created the internal conflict.